Hello everyone, welcome back. We are here with Noel Douglas and he is from our School of Art and Design. So starting
Hello.
off, can you tell us about the variety of courses that are available to study within this school?
Yeah, so we are a small school, quite community focused, but we also have a lot of international students, obviously with Luton having the airport. So we kind of get a really nice mix of local and London students and students from the area, and then students from all sorts of places, really interesting places as well, like in Africa and kind of like places you wouldn't necessarily think beyond the kind of obvious type of international students. So in the courses we've got, at the moment we have interior design and architecture, graphic design and animation, which is what I oversee. The graphic design also includes it's very sort of illustration orientated. So we have students that kind of work in an illustration type way. We have art and design and sort of contemporary arts, photography, fashion design, and am I missing something? I think that's it at the moment.
And with these courses, are there options to study with a foundation here?
Yes, of course. Yeah, so we have a foundation course as well. So if you're someone that sort of is either undecided about what you want to do in terms of a degree, or you maybe feel that you want that extra year to experiment and whatever, we do that as well. And what we do there is that then gives you a direct entry into one of our BA courses. So that's another option as well. We're in a specific building that's called a Lexon House. The picture behind me is actually students doing a climate change performance. I'm going to get out of the way. Look, you can see them there. And this is front of something called the Hat Factory, which is our local art centre, which has this amazing artwork on it, which you can slightly see a bit by a guy called Mark Tishner, who's a local artist. So the Lexon House, which is just behind this, is basically directly attached to this art centre, so that we have all sorts of stuff going on in the art centre. The Lexon House that we're in is a former fashion factory and an old hat factory. So Luton's very famous for its old hat industry. So they're both. So it's a building that used to have a lot of creative industries in it, and we have very, very big studios. So I think one of the big key good points about coming to our school is that we have quite small class sizes, so up to about 20 in general, and nice big studio spaces. And I think that's quite a lot different from a lot of the art schools in the area. Like, so for instance, if you went to the schools in London, you'd probably be in a class of 80 to 100 normally in a year. And obviously that then, I'm not saying that those schools are bad, but obviously that creates can be quite difficult for you in terms of accessing the equipment. In our art school, we have a print studio, we can screen print, we have photo studio, we can do photography, we have 3D printers and laser cutters and woodworking shops, and obviously computers to do work on. So, and all of that stuff you can access very easily because we've got, as I say, these kind of quite really good course size numbers that kind of give you also a really good, I think, quality of education, because you obviously get to know your tutors really well. You know, you do know them, they do know you, you're not just a number. And we all kind of come together and work in the studio.
Does your school have links to the industry, and has any one of your students ever, left the course and become part of the industry?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I've got tons and tons of students on things like LinkedIn. I did a survey the other last year actually, where I looked at places where people have gone, and I would say that any student that comes that puts the work in, I mean, that's the main thing I would say. If you want to do it and you're passionate, and that's obviously what we want to see, we'll help you get there. I mean, our students have gone on to do all sorts of stuff. People I know I've taught in the last decade are creative directors. They might run their own design studio. They might have gone abroad and done things like master's courses, or even kind of gone off into kind of weird things like charity work, where they work as graphic designers, for instance, things that you wouldn't necessarily think. And the good thing about our area and our school is, one, that we're 20 minutes from London on the train. So obviously the creative industries are largely clustered around London and the southeast. And also there's a huge growth in the film industry that's happening around Boreham Wood, which is sort of near us as well, in our kind of area. Lots of new film studios opening up. So for instance, on the animation course that we have, the kind of skills that people are learning there means you can fit into kind of all sorts of roles. I mean, there's despite what the degree title that you might kind of go for, say like graphic design, in my case, or animation, there's a lot of jobs within underneath that title. So you could be an animator who goes off to work in films doing kind of drawing characters, or when you watch a Spider-Man film, you watch any film these days, you see how much of the film is actually created by artists in computers. Yeah, so there's all those kind of different routes, and one of the things we do on the course, obviously, is we introduce you to that. So starting in the second year and then going into the third year, you do 2 big units that are all to do with your creative future. And what they do is they take you through a range of kind of all the things you'd need to know. So everything from, if you did want to set up your own freelance studio, and we have a lot of students that do that. Some of them work locally and work in the community, or some of them go to London. You know, how do you set up a studio up? How do you set your rates for what you charge people? How do you deal with your tax? How do you deal with your intellectual property so that you don't, you can license your work so you don't, lose the value and someone steals it or whatever, how do you get your portfolio sorted out? We also link with a range of industry organizations. So there's different organizations that their job essentially is to link students with industry. We link with them, and they also put on workshops to do with things like developing your portfolio, or developing your interview techniques, or all the sort of things that you need. And every course in the art and design school has a set of resources, as long as that help you do that. And these professional practice units that we have, there kind of will be a series. So there might be people coming in to do a lecture on something like intellectual property, or it might be that we look at AI, for instance. I mean, AI is now going to become a big feature of creative courses. So, but it has all sorts of problems with it, in terms of, the ethics of it, and also kind of how it's going to affect the job market. So we need to think about like how that's going to affect you, and you might get a lecture on that. And then one of the other things that we do in the school is we have a thing called Wow Wednesday. So Wow, it's called World of Work lectures. So that's basically where every week we have a different artist and designer come in. It's online at the moment. We do them online, but sometimes they're in person as well. And that talk that they're going to talk about what they do, and the focus of that talk, or the theme of the talk, is always about how they got to do what they did. Yeah. So it kind of helps you demystify the process, because I think maybe the one thing that some people can't understand maybe about art and design is, how do you get into some of these jobs, because they're not they're not necessarily advertised at the job center or whatever, and so those talks are all designed to help you understand how other people have done it, and that's so in all these ways we try and help you. And then where we are situated in the school in Luton is what's called the Creative Quarter, and so there's been a lot of work in that area, and what that means is there are local opportunities. So for instance, we have just down the street from us, we have some studios that you can rent out for cheap. If you graduated and you wanted to work in the local area and work, say, set up a design studio, you can do that. We've got also some creative businesses that have moved into the other studios, and as I say, we've got the hat factory as well. So through a combination of all those things, as well as obviously on the course teaching you the skills that you need to be employable, that helps you kind of get into those areas. And as I say, I just met with a student recently, Emmanuel, who's an animation student. He came to see me because he's just started to work in Soho in London. He's an animator. But this is a good example of what I mean by how you sometimes have to sort of take a route into things. So he's got a job in a Soho studio that does animation, but the job they had was video editing, and we've obviously taught him that skill. So at the moment, he's a video editor, and he's hoping to, because he's now in the company, hoping now to kind of shift into animation. And he told me that he was working on the jobs he was working on were, the latest Harry Potter video game. They basically had he had a brief where he had to make the video adverts for online for that stuff. So, and then we also have other things, and we have lots of students, for instance, who make music, and we encourage that as well in the course. I make music myself as well. There's all kind of creative stuff. So we've had those students come in. They're trying to launch their careers in music. We had them come in this year, and the students worked in a team to make videos for 2 of their tracks, which have gone out on YouTube. So the students get to work as a team. In this case, it was graphics and animation students working together with the artist, who was, say, one of our alumni. make a professional product that actually gets out there. So we also do that while you're on the course. We have an internal studio in the school called Guildford Street Press, which is run by an alumni. So that's another sort of potential thing that people come to school you could do. So the alumni runs it as a creative director that we oversee as staff. And then what that means is that students on any course, actually, I mean, not just graphics on my course, can do an internship in the studio. And the reason why we set that up is because we're all, as an art school, we're always being asked by people in the local area or whatever to, can you do us a poster? Can you make this for us? So we thought, well, okay, let's actually formalize this. So we have this studio, and as a student, you can go, while you're doing the course, you can go in and do an internship, work on a real project, get some money for it as well. It's paid work, and actually get stuff out there to help build your CV. So through in all those different ways, we help you to be employable. And as I say, every student I've had who, you know, puts in the work and keeps going when they finish, has got kind of to what they want to do. We've had all sorts of people do all sorts of really interesting stuff.
And do you have any advice for students looking to apply through Clearing?
Just get in touch with us. We're here. I'm on Clearing today. We're on Clearing, you know, for the rest of the week. If you've got any questions, or you're worried that maybe we're an Access University. So, you know, if you're worried that maybe you haven't, you know, your work isn't right, or, you know, is your work good enough or whatever, just get in touch with us. We'll speak to you. As I say, we're an Access University. So what we're looking for is people that just want to do it, really. You know, it's not about, you know, you don't have to be have been the best artist in your class or whatever. You know, you just have to want to do it and have a chat with us. And as I say, I've in the past taken students who haven't had a lot of experience in art and design even, but again have come out and been really good artists and designers. You know, because obviously, you know, that's what we're about. We're about teaching people creativity, and I think anyone can learn how to do that. So, you know, get in touch with us. You know, we're a friendly bunch. Like I say, it's a small community focused school. I think we have a lot of fun. Art school's fun. And, you know, we'll talk through and see what we can do for you.
Thank you so much, Noel Douglas from the School of Art and Design. Up next, we have got life science, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much, Noel.
Thank you. See you later.